Close your eyes and imagine this. Every time you sleep, you see death. Not just your own, but everybody's. The cities burn in red flames, while hollow laughter drifts from empty grins which lost their ability to smile, and your father's face appears out of nowhere before you. Talos Valcoran lived his existence tormented by a prophetic gift, inherited from Conrad Curse himself. Talos received his prophetic visions not as a gift, but as a heavy burden which tied him to an impending destiny that he could neither alter nor evade. The prophecies sent him through the battlefield and betrayals while leaving him shattered. Can someone lead effectively when all their options are preordained? When death reveals itself before the battle, how can someone keep fighting? Talos received nothing from his prophecies but endless darkness as he continued his grim path. Before he was the Soul Hunter, he was just a boy on Nostromo, a planet that existed as a perpetual night realm, only illuminated by the smoldering husks of burned-out hive cities. Talos Valcoran spent his childhood inside this labyrinth of rusting metal and rotting meat. The Night Lord's mother called him her little knight because she clung to a wish that he would stay clear of the gangs. But Nostromo devours hope. His first murder took place before he reached the age of 13. By 16, he'd been recruited into the Night Lord's Legion.
Wait, the same Legion that terrorized the galaxy during the Heresy? The Night Lords that practiced justice through a slow death by flaying?
Exactly. At some point in his life, Talos believed in this justice. He trained as an apothecary, tending to his brother's wounds during the Great Crusade, but Nostromo had already poisoned the Legion. By the time Talos earned his armor, the Night Lords were monsters, even to themselves.
So he was just another killer in a legion of butchers?
No, that's what makes him tragic. Talos still believed. He valued fear as a tool that could be utilized, unlike his battle brothers, who chose to revel in cruelty. Talos's life transformed after his encounter with his Primarch Conrad Curse. The Night Haunter saw something in him, a reflection of his own cursed foresight. Talos experienced prophetic visions which revealed images of death alongside betrayal and a spear plunging into his heart. Curse named him Soul Hunter long before he earned it.
Visions? Like sorcery?
Worse. Through his gene father's distorted heritage, he received these talents. Future visions came to Talos, but he could neither change nor accept these visions, which brought him only pain. He watched his legion fracture after Curse's assassination, saw himself hunting the Calidus assassin Mishen, even as his Primarch's corpse laughed at him from the grave.
Why hunt her? Curse wanted to die, right?
Vengeance, pride, maybe guilt. Despite Curse's last command, Talos refused to spare Mishen's life. Talos spent years chasing her while he killed her defenders before regaining the Corona Nox, his deceased father's crown. The moment he held it, he discarded it into the void.
Why?
Because the crown was a lie, just like the Legion's purpose. Meaning was more significant to Talos than any mere relic, and that hunt, it marked him, not as a hero, but as a man cursed to outlive everyone he cared for. First Claw operated as a prison more than a genuine brotherhood. Syrian was a liar. Uzas, a blood-mad berserker. Zal desired to meet his end through an honorable fight as a duelist. Mercutian, a cold-eyed marksman. Talos endured his position as apothecary while being pushed to guide the warband.
They sound like villains.
They were, but even villains have rules. Talos kept them in line, barely. During an episode of Khorne's fiery rage, Uzas experienced Talos had to cut off his arm to save him from destruction. Talos showed his dedication by personally killing Syrian after Syrian betrayed them, but they followed him. Why?
Fear?
No, need. Because without Talos' visions, the company would have perished while traversing the Eye of Terror. His pragmatic approach prevented his troops from breaking into internal fighting, and without his humanity.
Humanity? They're Chaos Space Marines.
True, and Talos kept slaves. Septimus worked under Talos as his personal mechanic throughout the years. Talos safeguarded Octavia under his protection as though she were his kin. The ancient dreadnought, Valcoran, showed respect toward Talos and followed his leadership. In that war band of killers, Talos was the only one who still saw humans as more than meat, and that was his humanity. Talos' visions worsened over time. He saw Sagwalsa, the world where Kurs died, drenched in Eldar blood. He saw a child with his eyes leading the Legion. He saw his own corpse. He never discovered ways to alter the situation he faced.
So he just gave up?
Never. When the Red Corsairs betrayed them on Villamus, Talos sacrificed their alliance to steal the Echo of Damnation. When the Exalted, the demon-possessed captain, fell, Talos took command. He even bargained with the Red Corsairs' warsmith, luring him into a trap that left Huron Blackheart humiliated.
He outsmarted Huron Blackheart.
The combination of Malkarian's firepower and Septimus's piloting skills resulted in victory, but every victory cost him. The prophetic images drove him to uncontrollable screaming inside his chambers. Octavia begged him to rest. Septimus even gave him drugged wine, which made him fall asleep. But Talos couldn't stop, not while the Legion crumbled around him. The warband began to unravel. Uzas' madness worsened. Syrian's lies poisoned the others. Even Zarl, the best of them, wore out quickly. Out of all his comrades, the dreadnought Malkarian alone did not waver.
Why?
Because Malkarian remembered the Legion's glory days. He regarded Talos as the remnant of Kurz's power. Despite understanding the effort would result in their death, Malkarian approved Talos' proposal, despite acknowledging it was a suicide mission.
And the others followed?
What choice did they have? Without Talos, they were just pirates. With him, they were something else. A shadow of the terror they'd once been. At his height, Talos commanded not just First Claw, but dozens of Night Lords' warbands. His visions united them. They raided Imperial worlds not for plunder, but to spread fear, to prove the Legion still mattered. Even Abaddon sought his counsel, offering demonhood in exchange for loyalty.
Talos refused the despoiler?
The War Master can keep his gifts, he said. The Night Lord Talos refused to embrace chaos. He wanted the Legion whole, terrible and pure, as it was under Curse. For a moment, it worked. Worlds burned, the Imperium trembled, and in the warp, the Night Haunter's laughter echoed.
But it couldn't last.
Prophetic knowledge is a double-edged sword which might harm or help. The final battle was a trap. Eldar forces ambushed them on Sagwalsa, led by Jain Zar, the Phoenix Lord of the Howling Banshees. Knowing the attack was inevitable, because he had seen it ahead of time, Talos still advanced toward his death.
Why?
To give the others a chance. Talos triggered a melter charge to cripple Jain Zar after she stabbed him through his hearts with her spear. When the striking scorpions attacked him, Zal stayed in their path to give his allies a chance to escape. After regaining his freedom from Khorne, Uzas perished while laughing until his last breath. The sarcophagus of Malkarian crumbled as he uttered his last words before his death. At least, it was fun.
And the slaves? Septimus? Octavia?
As his final moment, Talos set the slaves free. With a stolen shuttle, Septimus escaped alongside Octavia from the planet. These two escape alive as the sole survivors from the battle. Talos's gene seed lived on. Burial of Apothecary extracted the gene seed to use on a new warrior named Decimus, a prophet king who now leads the Legion, uniting warbands with visions sharper than Talos's own.
So, Talos won?
In a way. The Night Lords rise again, but they're still monsters. Despite his efforts, Talos had to bear the burden of being unable to halt the corruption process that his brothers were experiencing.
Then why care about him?
Because he tried. Despite existing in a universe that had succumbed to wickedness, he relentlessly sought redemption, even though he didn't know what it might look like. He loved his brothers. His purpose was to defend the worthwhile people among humanity and those who were innocent in his eyes. Talos Valcoran created a villainous legacy, although he always dreamed of becoming something more.
I think I hate that I understand him.
Exactly. And that's why his story matters.
If you want to learn more about Talos and First Claw, check out the books through the affiliate links in the description.